I'm in the Orthodox Bible. Orthodox means original. My grandfather was a priest for 40 years. My grandmother was a righteous woman before God. We're going to be in the third book of Moses, Leviticus. A little information. The author, Moses, uses the phrase, "And the Lord said to Moses," as many as 30 times, usually to begin a chapter. Both Israel and the church traditionally ascribes authorship to Moses. The date, the place and time at which this book was given is specifically defined as during the sojourn at Mount Sinai, 2735. What? Major theme: how to worship God. This is our first ever book of worship. It was especially written for the priests to teach the Israelites how to rightly worship God. This book points out the difference between the pagans and God's law and his people and those of the idol-worshipping, corrupt nations surrounding them. You shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy. Background. The opening statement, 1:1, the tabernacle has been erected as described in Exodus 40. God spoke to Moses from the tabernacle of testimony, or on Mount, or upon the door of the tabernacle. The writing of this book took place 5 months after Israel left Mount Sinai. Burnt offerings, Leviticus chapter 1, verse 1. Now the Lord called to Moses and spoke to him from the tabernacle of testimony, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, If a man among you should offer gifts to the Lord from the cattle, the oxen, or the sheep, you shall offer your gifts. If his gifts should be a whole burnt offering from the oxen, he shall offer a male without blemish. He shall offer it at the door of the tabernacle of testimony as acceptable before the Lord. Then he shall put his hand on the head of the burnt offering, and it will be accepted on his behalf to make atonement for him. He shall kill the young bull before the Lord, and the priest Aaron's son shall offer the blood and sprinkle the blood all around the altar by the door of the tabernacle of testimony. Then he shall skin the whole burnt offering and cut it into pieces. The son of Aaron, the priest, shall put fire on the altar and lay the wood on the fire. Then the priest Aaron's son shall lay the parts of the heads and the fats upon the wood of the fire in the altar. But he shall wash its internals and its legs with water. The priest shall then put all of it on the altar as a burnt offering, a sacrifice for a sweet aroma for the Lord. If his gift to the Lord should be from the sheep, or from the lambs, or the kids, as a whole burnt offering, he shall offer a male without blemish, and put his hand on his head, and he shall kill it on the north side of the altar before the Lord, and the priest Aaron's son shall sprinkle its blood all around the altar, and then they shall cut it into its pieces with its head and its fat, and the priest shall lay them upon the wood and the fire on the altar. But he shall wash the internals and the legs with water, and then the priest shall offer all of it, and put it on the altar as a burnt offering, a sacrifice for a sweet aroma to the Lord. But if you should offer a gift to the Lord from the birds for a burnt offering, he shall offer his gift from the turtle doves or young pigeons. The priest shall offer it on the altar, wings of its heads, and put it on the altar, and its blood shall be drained out at the base of the altar. And then he shall remove its crop from its feathers, and cast it beside the altar on the east side into the place for ashes. And then he shall split at its wings, but it shall not divide it. And the priest shall put it upon the altar of fire in the altar as a burnt offering and a sacrifice for a sweet aroma to the Lord.